have other people that are like trainers or that you've worked with, how have they found it?
I think a lot of people have found it really hard. A lot of people in the fitness industry are self-employed. So their work has just stopped and their income has stopped. And quite a lot of my friends do teach in studios or they PT, and they just don't have that at the moment. So people are really worried. And I think as well with the industry, it's incredibly saturated. So the fitness industry is so saturated. And I know some incredible people in the industry, but I also know that there's quite a lot of information that gets thrown around that isn't quite true. And it's probably a bit more detrimental than it is beneficial. So this whole lockdown might help filter out the industry a little bit and just improve I know that personal trainers don't necessarily have a great rep, and I completely understand why, because I've been to places and I've seen some funky things and you go, right, okay, that's why we don't have the best reputation. But there is a percentage of people who are really, really good at their job. And I think it would be a real shame if those people could no longer continue in the industry because this hits them so hard. But then on the flip side of that, I think those people are also very business minded, and they probably set themselves up pretty well for a situation like this where they can survive a 3 to 12 week lockdown and still continue to do their job. So the majority of my friends are really positive about it, and that's probably why they're my friends, because they're positive people and they bring me up, and I love being around that. But I do know a few people who are really stressed and really worried about it. But we can't control it. Like we can't control what's going on. And I think the main thing is to focus on what you can control. And we talk about this all the time at work. Like it's one of our mental conditioning days. It's like, how do you face uncertainty, like expecting the unexpected, and then just bringing that focus always back onto what you can control. So when this whole thing started, you're like, oh, wow, that's actually pretty relevant to everyday life now. And I think it really hit home for me months ago, because I used to spend quite a lot of time being like, well, why hasn't that person done that? And I would have done that by now. Whereas now I'm like, oh, okay, they haven't done it. That's fine. That's their way of doing it. Let me just focus on what I can control in this situation. So I think if you can bring that mindset into this, and you can control your movement, you can control your mindset, you can control your nutrition. Like there are lots of things that you can put your focus into that are within your circle of control, rather than watching the news 24/7 and panicking about what's going to happen next. And I didn't feel stressed about the lockdown until the day they were like, right, tonight might be the night. I was like, okay, now I'll listen, because now this is really going to have an impact. And then I was stressed for about 5 minutes, and then I was like, right, okay, so what am I going to do about it? And I think it's just about getting into more of the solution-based mindset rather than the problem. And the people that I know who have that mindset are totally fine. And the people who I know who kind of like to dwell on problems, they're not so fine. So I think it's about kind of shifting the way you view it and the positives that you can take from it, rather than the pretty rubbish situation that it is.
I said it in one of these before. It's like a personality trait. Like someone said to me once that, I'm like, they sort of said like I'm that type of person in terms of like I might do these things, take chances, and be outgoing with what I do. And I don't think it's fair to say, oh, you're just that type of person, because it is something you have to work on. And especially when you do something personal, it's like you can take quite a lot of hits. But yeah, I had the same thing as you. Like I do lick my wounds, because I think it's important to recognize when you're feeling sad and down and why. But I'm quite quick to like dust myself off and be like, okay, what am I doing now? Hence why we started this project. Yeah. Normally we do articles, podcasts, and like workshops and things like that, which are very face-to-face a lot of the time. But we were like, okay, we've got Skype. Let's just see how many different people from different industries and all that we can talk to. And we'll do that. Yeah. Back on your feet. And it took me a while to appreciate with some people that they're not like that. They can be more hard-hitting. And I think for a lot of people that were in a bad place before this happened, that's like really, really scary to think about. Like those people that were struggling, and they're like, oh, now I've got this to deal with as well. Like some virus never really happened in modern history. No. That's quite scary. I mean, you